Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a review as well as a demo of the brand new Stila Tinted Moisturizer Skin Balm. So this is the latest release in terms of base products from Stila Cosmetics. I don't know, when did this happen? When was it decided that all the brands are going to be coming out with these tinted moisturizer skin balm kind of products? I mean, I know that skin was massive in 2019 and 2020, and now a lot of makeup brands are starting to release kind of more skincare kind of makeup. I'm not okay with that. I don't know about you guys. I like my full coverage. But regardless, I'm here to do a review, obviously, on this new sleek product. And it costs £25. And for £25, you get 10 grams of product, which is 0.35 ounces. So in terms of the packaging, it comes in a nice, sleek looking compact with the product inside, which can get messy, as you can see mine is, and then a mirror on the top. And then the actual packaging it comes in is this really cute looking cardboard box, which has got little pictures of butterflies on it. All together now. So Stila have done exactly the same thing that Urban Decay did, and they have only released a very small amount of shades because they, again, believe tinted moisturizers to be flexible. And when I say flexible, they mean that one product can basically cover up to 4 to 5 skin tones. I personally disagree with that. I'm very much of the mindset that your color is your color, and if you want to build up the color, then you should be able to without having to worry that it no longer matches you. Now, Stila has come out with 8 shades, which is really small, and the shade that I bought mine in is number 3. Now, I personally think that number 3 is too light for me, just by a little bit. I've had to make it work. I was actually going to buy number 4, but I got completely thrown off with number 1. They're very poor CGI representation of swatches, which I will insert here so you can have a look. They're fake images, and if you look closely enough, 3 looks darker than number 4. So why would I go with the darker shade? Furthermore, number 3 is described as a warm tone shade and number 4 is neutral. I'm warm tone, so why would I go with neutral? But in hindsight, now I think I should have gone with number 4. So their descriptions are not that great. I think Stila has always been one of those brands who, even though they're a really good, very well established brand, their swatches are still back to the last century. Why are we still doing CGI swatches even when it comes to lipsticks, for example? They should always be done on actual skin tones so that we can see what they will look like on us, especially considering in the UK in particular, we are in the middle of lockdown, which is going to go on till March. We cannot go into stores and swatch them on our skin tone, so we very heavily rely on brands to show us the truest representation of a product. So even though if you look on their website, it says what all the shades are and what kind of color they're supposed to match with. So it says number 3 is called bisque to beige, because they're basically saying if you're within that range, you should be able to use it. Warm tinted balm for light skin tones. And then number 4, it says honey to linen, neutral tinted balm for medium skin tones. And then the next warm tone shade for me would have been number 6, which is maple to suntan warm tinted balm for dark skin tones. So they didn't really give me much of an option. Either it was this one or one that is a lot deeper than mine. That doesn't really make me very happy, and it's not really that helpful at all. I'll just read to you what their claims are, as I always do, off of their website before I give you my own opinions based on my experience of using this. So it says clean, active skincare and makeup multitasker in one unique, lightweight, silky balm. Stila's Tinted Moisturizer Skin Balm fortifies skin with moisturizers, antioxidants and natural extracts while providing sheer to medium coverage with a natural sheen. Designed for sensitive skin, this innovative skincare makeup blend helps restore skin's natural moisture balance with natural castor seed, sunflower seed and safflower seed oils. Vitamin C and E provide antioxidant protection, and natural extracts including rice bran, rosemary leaf, camellia leaf and grapeseed help to promote hydration and even skin tone. The balm is fragrance-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free and phthalate, I never say it, free. So it says that it is undetectable, lightweight, silky balm glides on effortlessly, fortified with skin nourishing natural extracts, vitamins and antioxidants, and the usual free stuff. And then it says the way to use it is either to apply with your fingers or to use a firm synthetic brush. Obviously Stila came out with their own brush, and they want you to use it with it. But for me, I actually just used my Real Techniques buffing brush, which is dense but also fluffy at the same time, and it made it very easy to pick up the product. One thing that I do have to say is that dust and dirt stick to this very easily. After one use, I was like, what's with all this fluffy stuff on here? It was just like, because I'd changed my bed sheets and, you know, flapped them around, and somehow they ended up on here, and now they're stuck within the product. So that's something that you need to be careful about in terms of it being clean. Also, when using the brush, this has the propensity to go all the way around the outsides onto the actual packaging itself. This is quite a messy product. Now, in terms of what they say about this, is that it is undetectable, lightweight and silky balm which glides on effortlessly. Yes, it is very much undetectable and lightweight. I love the way that it glides onto the skin. It literally feels like I'm applying moisturizer to my skin, but then in the same respect, it sits on your skin like moisturizer does, in that you have to give it about 10-15 minutes to actually settle onto your skin. The one thing that I did notice when using this brush is that it left brush streak marks on my face. And obviously that won't happen if you use your fingers, because your fingers ain't bristles, but that will happen with this. But then another thing was that after about 10-15 minutes, once it had settled onto my skin, those brush streaks kind of disappeared. But not quite ideal. Obviously, nobody wants like an area where there are lines on their face, and especially when you do want to set something like this. Now, it's completely obviously up to you whether or not you want to set it. Setting it obviously adds to its longevity, which had to be done for me. Now, I found that because this is a moisturizing balm on the face, I definitely had to set it because it just felt like I had moisturizer on top of my face. Now bear in mind that I've already got my skincare on as well as my sunscreen. Now I'm applying more skincare on top. How much skincare do I need to apply to my skin? I really just don't like this whole trying to force skincare onto us by using base products like foundations and tinted moisturizers. I want to separate them all out and use them individually, but that's just my personal preference. They don't really say much else other than just that it's got all of these skincare ingredients, which is not really helpful, and that it provides sheer to medium coverage. Now that's the area that I have a slight issue with. Now obviously in regards to today's video, I have gone up to medium coverage for you guys, just so that you guys can see what it looks like. Now, this definitely evens out the skin tone beautifully, and I would definitely say that it goes up to medium coverage with no issues whatsoever. It's not quite the same as the Urban Decay one. I think that this actually performs a lot better than the Urban Decay one, in the way that it sits on the face, in the way that it feels quite nourishing as well, and you don't get that shine that you get from the Urban Decay one. Both of them obviously being tinted moisturizers, but this one also has the added skin balm or whatever it is, like a tinted moisturizer as well as a skin balm. So it's two things. This one contains a lot more skincare ingredients that are a lot more nourishing to the skin. And if anything, if you look at their ingredients, the number one and the first ingredient is actually castor seed oil. So that's the main ingredient in this. Remember, when it comes to ingredients, the way that they are listed from top to bottom is dependent on how much of the ingredient is within the product. So castor seed oil is actually the number one ingredient in this. It's got a very creamy sort of texture, and it feels really nice and glides on beautifully and easily onto the skin. I did find initially that it grabs onto any dry patches that you've got. I've got a little bit of eczema again on the side of my nose, and I found that it really kind of grabbed onto it and emphasized it. But again, after those 10-15 minutes had gone, it settled onto the skin. I couldn't see the dry skin after that. It doesn't transfer that much, which is something that I've noticed that happens a lot with tinted moisturizers, which is great. When I actually wore this, I had to randomly, just out of nowhere, had to go and take my parents to get their COVID vaccinations done. So as I accompanied them, I obviously put on my face mask. When I got home, and I'd noticed that this whole area, it's not even that it had separated, it's that the mask had rubbed it off and it had left kind of marks on my face, like patchy marks, like it had separated, but I know that it hadn't separated. And then when I tried to rub it with my finger, it just did not really work quite well. It's almost as if when you've got something mixed with powder and then you press it and it kind of transfers off. So unfortunately, this does not work so well with face coverings. However, in other areas of my face, when I'd noticed it had started to move around, because at the end of the day it is a tinted moisturizer, I just rubbed it with my finger and it was perfectly fine. I think it had something more to do with the mask and the fact that it had sat on my face for at least 2 to 3 hours. So I found that it lasted up to 8 hours before it started to break down, which is fine by me, because at the end of the day it is a tinted moisturizer and I don't expect them to last as long as foundations. However, even then, after 8 hours, I'd noticed a little bit of separation. However, there wasn't that shine there. Now, I have decided to set my face. It's completely up to you whether or not you want to or not. I definitely think that this gives a nice natural sheen to the skin. I think that my skin looks natural. It doesn't look overly done and it doesn't look fake. Obviously, if I was to use the shade number 4, I think I'd feel a little bit more comfortable. But if I was to build this up more and more and more, I think it would just become a little bit too obvious that I've got something on my face that doesn't quite match my skin tone perfectly. And I also decided to set it because it leaves a slight tacky feel to the skin. Now, when you've got something tacky on your face and then you go in with a powder product like blusher or bronzer to contour, what you'll notice is that your brush will start to snag and it may also leave patchy marks. Once I'd set it and I just used my normal Laura Mercier setting powder in the shade Honey, my skin suddenly became a lot smoother and it made further makeup application a lot easier. Another thing that I have to say about this product is that I've already got quite a bit of a dent in it and I've only used it 3 times. You really have to dig your brush in quite hard to get a decent amount of product off to then apply it to your face. So this is something that is going to run out quite quickly, and it's not surprising because again the main ingredient is castor oil, and this is definitely more of a cream foundation kind of consistency, and therefore you will go through it a lot faster than a normal foundation or a squeeze in a bottle kind of tinted moisturizer like the Urban Decay one, for example. It says that it helps to restore the skin's natural moisture balance. I'm not sure how much I can agree with that, because again I do use skincare, so I want to be completely transparent with you guys. So, and it says that obviously it is undetectable. I would say so. Now, for those of you that love to use kind of tinted moisturizers or don't want to use foundations, I think this is something that you would quite like. Personally, I would give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good product for a tinted moisturizer. The 8 shades aside, the 8 shades is definitely a minus point for me. I would have hoped that they come out with a much larger range for this, especially if you're expecting people to be able to build it up to medium coverage. When it's a light coverage, it's not as noticeable because you don't have that much on your face. When you're building up to medium coverage, the pigment and color is a lot more obvious, and therefore it will be a lot more obvious that you've got a color on which doesn't quite match your skin. And that is exactly what I said about the Urban Decay one as well. So be 100% sure when you buy this, or if you decide to, that if you are only getting it for a light coverage effect, it doesn't really matter which shade you get technically. But if you're getting it so that you can have a little bit of color on your skin and to be able to build it up to medium coverage, make sure that you get one that really does match your skin almost perfectly. Otherwise it will just be too obvious that it doesn't match your skin tone properly. I think I've managed to do okay with it. I'm still not 100% happy. I'm not blind. I can see what I look like in the viewfinder. And not just that, I noticed it quite quickly when I applied it that I looked slightly like a ghost. Another thing that I feel the need to mention is, if like me you like to use concealer under your eyes, remember that it may be quite obvious that you've got something which is a tinted moisturizer on and then a concealer. Like my concealer is full coverage and I've only got a little bit on under my eyes. However, I can very obviously see that I've got more coverage in this area here than I have around my nose and around my cheeks. Now, even though they blend in nicely with each other because of the fact that it has got that creamy kind of feel, just remember that if you go in with too much concealer, it'll be very obvious you've got full coverage here and not full coverage on the rest of your face, especially when it comes to the sides of your nose. So maybe when using this, go in with a more lighter coverage kind of concealer rather than a full coverage one. Otherwise it'll be a bit obvious. I mean, you guys won't necessarily be able to see it so much because you're not sitting right in front of my face, but it is obvious to me that I can see that I've got great coverage around my eyes. Everything is covered. However, the sides of my nose, it's a lot more obvious that I can still see a little bit of my natural skin underneath. So overall, like I said, I'm quite happy with this tinted moisturizer skin balm. I'm probably going to go in and buy number 4 after this because I just don't feel 100% happy with this color. I'm not going to get any lighter now. It is winter. I'm only going to get darker as it starts to get warmer, and that will make this a lot more obvious they don't match my skin, and I can't walk around looking like that. That's it for my review of the brand new Stila Tinted Moisturizer Skin Balm. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Let me know what your thoughts are about this product and whether you're thinking about getting it. I know some of you guys really love tinted moisturizers, and I think so far from the releases that I have seen from this year, this one is definitely one of my favorites. Now on that note, I'm going to love you all and leave you. I hope you're wonderful and great, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.